Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Reardon and today I am going to answer the most asked question on this channel. Where do the mini eggs come from? If you've been a regular on How to Cook That, then you'll know that I love miniature things, and some time ago I built a mini working 1/12 scale kitchen, and I've done lots of teeny weeny bakes since then, and in some of those recipes I've used tiny eggs. Now, under each of those videos there are so many comments asking where do you get the tiny eggs, and each of those comments has hundreds of likes underneath it. And then this has led to speculation in the comments about their origin. It's Ricky thinks the eggs are fake and they're made out of clay. Well, let's test that and fry up an egg on its own so you can see what happens when we cook it. Well, it seems to cook like a normal egg. It'd be pretty hard to do that out of clay unless I was a CGI expert, which I'm not. So if we take that off quickly, we can have the yolk still runny, just how I like it. Now, if I fry up another one and put that on some toast, then you'll be able to see the true size comparison when compared to normal toast and a standard chicken egg. Julie wants to know how there is such a tiny egg, and Dragon Girl answers her question saying, mini chickens, duh. Danielle wants to know if that's true, asking, do I have a tiny living chicken? Now, as cute as that would be, I can confirm that I do not have the ability to miniaturize animals. If I did have that ability, or if you had that ability, what animal would you choose to make 1/12 scale? I don't think I'd choose to miniaturize a chicken, but if you could miniaturize one animal, which one would you choose? Okay, back to the question. FMF says they're quail eggs, and Adeline, Mackenzie, Matilda and Holly and lots of other people all agree. So are they quail eggs? Well, Honya disagrees and says that quail eggs are delicious, but they're not that small. And Honya is right. Look how big a quail egg looks compared to the tiny egg. They are much smaller than a chicken egg, but they are huge when they're compared to the tiny egg. Speaking of huge, when I was at the markets getting these quail eggs, I found something awesome that I want to show you. Check this out. It's an ostrich egg. It's the biggest egg laid by any animal. Isn't that just amazing? It sounds pretty solid when you tap it. I'm going to crack this thing open and cook it so we can see what it tastes like. But first, let's look at how big that looks in the mini kitchen. Oh, it looks like a T-Rex egg. Some massive dinosaur's going to hatch out of it. How hard is this going to be to break? I hit that really hard and nothing happened. This must be a really thick shell. Ready? I'll try again. Still nothing. Oh, there we go. I made a little dent. Okay, let's see if we can get the yolk out without it breaking. You ready? Isn't that just the biggest egg yolk you've ever seen? Oh my goodness. Look at that. I'm going to put this in the oven and cook it on the biggest platter that I have. Here we go. Look at that.
Oh, that is a monster.
That is an ostrich egg.
Wow, it is huge.
It sure is.
Wow, and can we taste this?
Of course, dig in.
All right, okay.
Oh, it looks a bit different to normal egg.
I'm
Wow.
a little bit scared of this. This is
It looks a bit more like,
glutinous.
it doesn't look like normal egg white. I'm going to taste the egg white on its own. It tastes like normal egg white.
Oh, it does, it's good.
Just looked a little bit different. All right, time for the yolk. Here we go.
I like it.
Tastes like a chicken egg to me.
Tastes like a giant chicken egg.
Do you reckon you could eat it all?
No,
Do you reckon
no
the
way.
boys could?
We should give them a go.
3, 2, 1, look now.
Wow, that is a big egg. It's like the size of a pizza, or bigger.
It's
Crikey.
ostrich egg. Would you
Then
like to
there's a
taste
tiny
it?
egg here as well.
You can eat
Oh,
the
yeah.
tiny one too if you want.
I will eat the tiny one.
It's very golden around the edges. Do we just like cut a slice?
Yeah, give it
Just
a
like
taste.
a pizza.
Most people will never taste ostrich egg in their life, so I need you to describe what this tastes like.
Well, straight off cutting it, you can see it's a different texture. A bit more opaque than usually egg white. Like an egg, but bigger. You know how there's like the little lumps of texture within an egg? It's them, but they're just big lumps. So it is a different texture. But it tastes like normal egg to me.
I don't know. It just tastes like an egg, I guess. I don't know what I was expecting.
Do you reckon you could eat the whole thing?
No.
I reckon I could eat the whole thing.
No, you couldn't.
I reckon I could do it.
I'll give you $10 if you can.
Alright.
Good luck.
Righty. Now I have to eat this whole egg. Oh, I'm just so full. I don't think there's any way that I'm gonna finish this. I did a good job. I finished one half, but I don't think I can get the rest in. Hey James. I don't think that I can finish it.
Okay, I was kind of expecting it was going to be done when you called me back in.
Nah, it's a huge egg.
I mean, that's a fair effort.
It's equivalent to 24 chicken eggs.
So that's about, 11 or 12. I mean, I did bet you
pretty
$10. I could give you 5 for that.
I reckon that's fair enough.
All right, that's a solid effort. There you go. I mean, that's 10, but you owe me 5.
Alright.
So we have the ginormous ostrich egg that you've just seen. Next to that we have a duck egg, which is a little bit bigger than a chicken egg, which is bigger, of course, than the cute little quail egg, but these are nowhere near as small as the tiny little precious eggs, which are the ones I use in the mini kitchen. So the question is, where are these eggs from? Bella, Lyrae, the dessert stand, Scarlet King, Joyce and Sarah think they are hummingbird eggs. The Moonlight asks, is that even legal? Now, hummingbirds are tiny little birds. You can see it here compared to the size of a little bee or a wasp. And their eggs that they lay are less than 1 centimetre long. So these are about the right size. But as Jodie points out, we don't even have hummingbirds here in Australia. The Moonlight thinks that we can actually get virtually anything nowadays online, but anyone living in Australia knows that's not true. Eggs would get stopped by our border security. You can actually get big fines or jail time for trying to import things like eggs or animals, unless you're Johnny Depp's wife.
Australia is free of many pests and diseases that are commonplace around the world. That is why Australia has to have such strong biosecurity laws.
It has to be protected.
And then you can pay a small fine and make an apology video that looks like you're being held hostage. But anyway, let's move on. I can confirm that this is not a hummingbird egg. Jenna thinks that they might be lizard eggs, and Kayla suggests they could be snake eggs, but to be careful there aren't any snakes in them. Snake egg shells are not hard like chicken eggs. Did you know if you get a chicken egg and you put it in your hand and wrap your fingers around it and put your thumb on the outside and squeeze as hard as you cannot break a chicken egg? It's because of the shape of it. It's been made to withstand the forces of being laid without being able to be broken. Give it a go. Anyway, back to snake eggs. Snakes rarely, if ever, lay unfertilised eggs. So chickens will lay eggs regularly, regardless of whether there's a rooster around or not. So we get unfertilised eggs, which are the ones without chickens in, the ones that we eat. Whereas a snake will only lay an egg if it's fertilised. So that means if you see a snake egg, it'll have a snake inside. So definitely not what I'm using in the mini kitchen. We do have some very small birds here in Australia though, like this cute little fairy wren that's busy making its nest. So is this a fairy wren egg? Well, let's smash it open and see. Nope, this little guy is just a toy for dolls' houses. There's nothing inside it, so I'm not using fairy wren eggs. So where do the tiny eggs that I cook in the pan come from? Well, some of my long-term subscribers got this right. They remembered a molecular gastronomy video that I made 8 years ago showing how to make liquid chocolate sphericals. Basically, you take a small amount of sodium alginate, which is from algae, and you put it into a blender with water. If you add it to warm water while the blender's running, you don't get lumps. It's a lot easier to do it that way. Then you pour that into a bowl and you have to let all those air bubbles settle out of it. A couple of hours later and it's looking good, but as you can see, it's still totally liquid. And that's because alginate won't set. Even if we put it in the fridge, it is going to stay liquid. The only thing that makes it set is calcium, like the calcium you find in milk. But if you're working with something that doesn't have calcium in it, you can add calcium gluconate or calcium lactate to it. So in this case, we can add it to our egg yolks or any mixture that you want to make into sphericals, you can do this with. Mix it in, and when that calcium in this mixture comes in contact with the sodium alginate, it will make it form a gel. Now, if we leave that in there for long enough, it will gel the whole way through. But if we take it out quickly, you just have gel around the outside. The longer you leave it, the thicker the membrane becomes, which of course is very tricky when you're making these on a miniature scale. You have to work very quickly and very carefully, but that is how I make the miniature egg yolks. And the white, of course, is just plain egg white, and add the little mini yolk on top. So it's okay, there are no tiny birds being robbed of their eggs for the mini kitchen bakes. I hand make the mini eggs just like I make all of the other tiny ingredients that I need, like the miniature candy canes, a can with tiny individual slices of apple, and the miniature chocolate chips. As much as I would love to have a miniature supermarket where I could just go and buy all these things, that is not available. So everything I use is a miniature version of the real thing. It's fully edible, it just has to be handmade first. Subscribe to How to Cook That for more crazy sweet creations. Click here to watch some more of my videos. With thanks to my patrons for supporting this channel, you are total legends. And if the others of you are wondering how some of the comments on this video are from 23 hours before the video even went live, Gold patrons have early access to my videos, so that's how they've managed to do that. Make it a great week by being kind to others, and I'll see you on Friday.